The dim lights of the Rusty Anchor cast long shadows over the bar, where I sat, nursing a drink that was stronger than my usual choice. I was Jessica, a woman caught in the monotony of a marriage that felt more like a well-oiled machine than a passionate union. Tonight, though, something was different. The air was thick with the scent of beer and the promise of something wild. My friend Sarah had dragged me out, and now, as she chatted away with acquaintances, I found myself alone, yet not quite. Across the room, a man caught my eye, his presence like a magnet pulling me towards the unknown. His gaze was intense, sparking, a fire within me that I thought had long been extinguished. As our eyes locked, I felt a rush of adrenaline, the thrill of stepping into a dance of danger and desire. What would happen if I let go? If I followed this spark into the night? My name is Jessica, and at 33, I've settled into a life that feels both comfortable and confining. I've been married to Michael for 7 years now, a man whose predictability has become both his charm and his curse. Our life together is like a well-oiled machine, running smoothly but without much excitement. However, there's a part of me that craves something more, something wild and unpredictable. One evening, after a particularly mundane week, my friend Sarah convinces me to join her for a night out at a local bar known for its vibrant atmosphere. The bar, the Rusty Anchor, is a place where the city's eclectic mix of people gather, each with their own stories and secrets. As we enter, the air is thick with the scent of beer and the hum of conversations. Sarah, ever the social butterfly, quickly finds acquaintances to chat with, leaving me to my own devices at the bar counter. The dim lights cast long shadows across the room, and the music, a low thrum of jazz, seems to pulse through the walls. I order a drink, something strong to match the boldness I feel stirring within me. That's when I notice him. A black man, perhaps in his late 30s, with an air of confidence that seems to command the space around him. His eyes meet mine, and there's an instant spark, a silent acknowledgement of mutual interest. His gaze doesn't waver, and I find myself drawn in, feeling a rush of adrenaline as if I'm teetering on the edge of something thrilling, yet dangerous. He's dressed sharply, his suit tailored to perfection, hinting at a life far removed from the routine I've grown accustomed to. There's a moment of hesitation, but with Sarah engrossed in her conversation, I decide to take a chance. I slide onto the bar stool next to him, my heart racing with a mix of nervousness and excitement. "Hi, I'm Jessica," I say, offering a smile that feels both genuine and a bit daring. He turns to me, his smile warm and inviting. "I'm Derek," he responds, his voice smooth like velvet. We start talking, the conversation flowing effortlessly from music to travel, to the mundane details of our daily lives. Derek has a way of making the ordinary sound extraordinary, his stories filled with laughter and life. As we talk, I find myself drawn to his energy, his presence. It's not just physical attraction. There's an emotional pull, a sense of being understood in a way I hadn't felt in years. His eyes, deep and thoughtful, seemed to see right through me, igniting a spark that I thought had long been extinguished by the routine of my marriage. The conversation takes a turn towards the personal, and I find myself sharing things I hadn't even told Sarah. Derek listens intently, his responses thoughtful and engaging. There's a moment when his hand brushes mine as he reaches for his drink, and the touch sends a shiver down my spine. It's electric, charged with an unspoken promise of something more. I notice how his gaze lingers on my lips when I speak, how his voice drops to a whisper when he shares a secret, making the space between us feel intimate, almost secluded from the bustling bar around us. As the night deepens, so does our connection. There's a magnetic pull, an undeniable chemistry. That makes me question everything I thought I knew about myself. As the night deepens, the atmosphere at the Rusty Anchor grows more intimate. Derek's laughter is infectious, and I find myself leaning closer, our conversation now peppered with light touches and shared glances. The music shifts to something slower, more seductive, and in that moment, something shifts within me too. Without thinking, I lean in, my lips brushing against his neck. The contact sends a shiver through both of us. Derek's hand, which had been resting on the bar, finds its way to my thigh, his touch firm yet gentle. The world around us fades. It's just us, the heat of the moment, and the undeniable chemistry. In a bold move, I guide his hand higher, my breath catching as I realize the implications of my actions. Here, in this public space, I'm crossing a line I never thought I would. The thrill of the forbidden, the allure of the unknown, it's intoxicating. Derek's eyes meet mine, a silent question hanging between us. His fingers trace a line up my leg, sending waves of anticipation through me. My heart pounds, not just from the physical touch, but from the realization of what this could mean. I'm on the brink of something that could change everything. The music, now a slow, sultry beat, seems to echo the rhythm of my heartbeat. I can feel the warmth of Derek's breath on my cheek as he leans in closer, his voice a whisper. "Are you sure about this, Jessica?" His question, so simple yet loaded with complexity, hangs in the air. I pause, the reality of my marriage, my life with Michael, flashing before my eyes. But here, in this moment, with Derek, there's an undeniable pull, a magnetic force that's hard to resist. I nod, a slight movement, but it's enough. Derek's hand moves with a deliberate slowness, exploring further, igniting a fire within me. The bar, the people, the noise, all of it fades into a distant hum as we become lost in each other. But then, a flicker of doubt, a whisper of guilt. What am I doing? What will happen next as our encounter escalates? The bar, once bustling, now seems to exist in a bubble around us. Our actions, though discreet, are not entirely hidden. A couple of patrons glance our way, their expressions a mix of shock and intrigue. But I'm beyond caring. The thrill of the forbidden, the rush of adrenaline, it's intoxicating. Derek's lips meet mine in a kiss that's both a question and an answer. We're lost in each other, the world outside our bubble irrelevant. My hands explore his back, pulling him closer, the physicality of our connection undeniable. His touch, firm yet gentle, sends waves of anticipation through me. The music, a slow, sultry beat, seems to echo the rhythm of my heartbeat. I can feel the warmth of Derek's breath on my cheek as he leans in closer, his voice a whisper. "Are you sure about this, Jessica?" His question, so simple yet loaded with complexity, hangs in the air. I pause, the reality of my marriage, my life with Michael, flashing before my eyes. But here, in this moment, with Derek, there's an undeniable pull, a magnetic force that's hard to resist. I nod, a slight movement, but it's enough. Derek's hand moves with a deliberate slowness, exploring further, igniting a fire within me. The bar, the people, the noise, all of it fades into a distant hum as we become lost in each. But then, a flicker of doubt, a whisper of guilt. What am I doing? What will happen next as our encounter escalates? The moment stretches, our breaths mingling, the heat between us palpable. Derek's touch, now more daring, sends a shiver through me. The line I'm crossing feels both exhilarating and terrifying. As our kiss deepens, I feel the weight of my choices, the potential consequences of this night. Yet the desire to explore this new, thrilling path with Derek is overwhelming. His hands, now roaming with a boldness that matches my own, make it clear there's no turning back. The world outside our bubble seems to hold its breath, waiting for the next move. Will someone notice? The climax of our encounter happens almost too quickly. With the bar's dim lighting and the crowd's noise as our cover, we give in to the moment. It's a whirlwind of passion, a physical expression of the emotional connection we've forged in mere minutes. The bar counter, the place where countless stories have unfolded, now holds ours. Derek's hands are on me, his touch sending electric shocks through my body. The thrill of the forbidden, the allure of the unknown. It's intoxicating. Our kisses deepen, our breaths mingle, and the world outside our bubble fades into a distant hum. But as we catch our breath, the reality of what just happened begins to seep in. I've cheated on Michael, not just emotionally, but physically, in a way that's both public and private. The weight of my choices, the potential consequences of this night, they crash down on me like a wave. Derek looks at me, his eyes filled with a mix of satisfaction and concern. His voice, now softer, breaks the silence. "Jessica, are you okay?" I nod, but inside I'm a storm of emotions. Guilt, exhilaration, confusion, they all swirl together. The music, which had been our soundtrack, now feels like an accusation. I glance around, half expecting to see Michael's face in the crowd, but it's just the usual patrons, some oblivious, others casting curious glances our way. The reality of what I've done hits me harder. I've crossed a line, one that I can't uncross. Derek's hand, still on my thigh, feels like both a comfort and a reminder of my betrayal. I take a deep breath, trying to steady myself. "I need a moment," I whisper, more to myself than to Derek. He nods, understanding, or perhaps just sensing the shift in the air. I step away from the bar, the cool air outside hitting my flushed cheeks. The night, once filled with promise, now feels heavy with the weight of my actions. I lean against the wall, my mind racing. What will I do now? The question hangs in the air, unanswered. As I stood there, the cool night air doing little to quell the storm inside me, Derek joined me outside. We exchanged numbers, a silent agreement that this night might not be our last, though the complexity of what had transpired hung between us like a thick fog. The thrill of the unknown was now mixed with the heavy burden of guilt. With a nod and a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes, Derek left, disappearing into the night. I turned back to find Sarah, who was still inside, blissfully unaware of the emotional whirlwind I was caught in. We left the bar together, her chatter about the night's events a stark contrast to the silence that had enveloped me. Back at home, I slipped into bed next to Michael, his steady breathing a stark reminder of the life I had just betrayed. The secret of my infidelity sat heavy on my chest, a silent burden that threatened to suffocate me with every breath. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, the memory of Derek's touch still lingering on my skin, a sensation both thrilling and haunting. In the days that followed, I was a mess of conflicting emotions. Guilt gnawed at me, a constant companion, as I went through the motions of my life with Michael. Our routine, once comforting, now felt like a trap, each moment a reminder of my deceit. The excitement of that night at the Rusty Anchor was a double-edged sword, cutting through the monotony but also slicing at my conscience. I found myself replaying the night over and over in my mind. The way Derek's eyes had locked onto mine, the electric charge when our hands touched, the forbidden thrill of our kiss, all of it was etched into my memory. Yet, with every recollection, the weight of my actions grew heavier. I tried to act normal, to be the Jessica Michael knew, but there was a part of me that had changed, a part that was now forever altered by that one night. The secret was like a shadow following me, whispering doubts and fears. Would Michael ever find out? Could I live with this secret forever? Each time I looked at Michael, I saw not just the man I had married, but also don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.